Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending from where you are connected. I see many people from all over the world today being with us. Thank you for joining. Thank you for attending this Skillman webinar today again. This time we'll be talking about innovation in farming. And indeed, we'll be talking about the applications of advanced manufacturing sector in the food value chain. We are together again today after yesterday where we had another webinar. And today again with this event that is also organized in collaboration with the Assembly of European Regions. So again, I would like to thank these wonderful women for organizing the webinar today as well, and for putting this much effort, Joanna, Birgit, and Valeria. Thank you very much to our panelists who joined us today and our moderator Cornelia that I'll be delighted to introduce in just a minute. My job today is actually to give you the main instructions for the time that we'll be together. So from now, 10 o'clock in the morning, if you're in Central European time, and we'll be spending together 1 hour, so until 11. And these that you see on your screen are the instructions. Right now, while we wait for the audience for more participants to join, you see on your screen that you have your microphones off and your camera is also off. So during the whole webinar, you'll be able to ask questions, and we want your engagement, of course, throughout the whole presentation. So you have a button here in the bottom bar of your screen that is the Q&A icon. With that, if you click on it, you will have a window opening, and you'll be able to ask your questions to directly to the speakers. Again, the format, according to the format of today's webinar, we will have a last session that will be dedicated to the Q&A space. So those questions will be addressed to the speakers later by our moderator. Now, from my side, just a quick self-introduction. I am Valentina. I am the communication manager of the Skillman team. And I would like to remind all of you that today's webinar is not one individual webinar, but it's part of a series of other digital activities on EU funds opportunities that we have been implementing with time with the collaboration of our partners. The main objective of these kind of webinars is actually to establish long-lasting partnerships for future European projects with all of you. So for us, really the added value that we want to bring to the table with these kind of activities is the collaborative approach and the engagement for all the participants. So I strongly invite you to engage and interact, especially within the Q&A space as much as you want. Moving on, again, if you've been following us, you know that this is the intro part, the part where I explain what is Skillman and why we have been implementing these kind of activities. So Skillman, again, is a network, is a network of different stakeholders around TVET, mainly includes TVET providers, universities, industry leaders, policymakers, and such. And it's the backbone around which we create and exchange skills, mainly in the advanced manufacturing sector. So we hope to exchange skills to cope with the new challenges and needs of the labor markets today. On your screen now, I'm just showing and sharing with you a few highlights from 2020. The network now has reached more than 600 members from 300 regions and from 93 countries. So we cover a very large, we have a very large coverage around the world. We have ambassadors that spread the values and the principles of the network around the world that are more than 50 right now, but they're constantly expanding. We have created for peer learning clubs, those groups of experts that discuss around the 4 different topics in TVET. And with them in 2020, we have published 4 position papers. We have more and more users connected to our website, our official website, Skillman.eu. And again, if you have been following us a little bit, you know that we regularly organize webinars. With those webinars, we have different focuses. But so the ones from today is actually aimed at having our audience to be engaged and to, let's say, share contacts for future collaborations. I would like just to move on with these slides. Basically, all these activities that we are implementing and all the work that we constantly do with our partners are embedded in a project, the SkillNet project, that is co-funded by the European Commission. And the aim of the project is to establish a large network of centers of vocational excellence. As you see from the screen, we cooperate with the Assembly of European Regions, but also with other organizations. The International Vocational Education Training Association, EAPRIL, and with this special partnership with the European Training Foundation. So I would like to forward my invitation for all the participants that joined us today. If you're interested in bringing those topics and continuing to discuss around the topics that will be addressed today, please join one of our peer learning clubs. Those are just groups of experts around TVET coming from different backgrounds, but what they have in common is that they are willing and they are interested in these four main topics that you see on the screen. We have more than 200 now that join these groups. So again, we don't want these discussions to end with this hour that we'll be spending together. So we want it to be even sustainable after today. So please, if you want to continue the discussions, you can join those groups. How to do so? Luca is sharing now the link with you in the chat box. So please follow the link to subscribe. Last but not least, if you want, we are also live streamed on our YouTube channel, the Skillman.eu YouTube channel. Again, Luca is sharing with you the screen, so if you have any technical issues, please connect with us there. And very last, tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about this webinar. We also want to improve the quality of our webinars, so for us, your evaluation is very important. Please follow the link to fill this feedback form and let us know what's your opinion about today's webinar. Without any further details, let me introduce to you the moderator of today's session. So Cornelia Carmen Madaras, the advisor at the Foreign Affairs Office of the Alba County Council. So if you want, Cornelia, the floor is completely yours. Over to you. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Valentina, for the short introduction. I'm really glad to be today with you to discuss about the challenges and of the agri-food food channel. And as you said before, I'm working as an advisor at Alba County Council in charge of foreign affairs. Alba is a region member of the Assembly of European Region, which is the largest independent network of region in the broader Europe, and that it's an association that brings region together for the purpose of improving local policies through cooperation and advocacy work for the local and regional interest that is needed at European and international level. The Assembly of European Region is very glad to be part of the SkillNet project, which allow our members to address societal and economic needs through exchange of best practices with international, European, and local experts and practitioners. As you said before, today we will discuss about how can improve with the help of the digitalization and the new technologies the agri-food sector. And for this, we have with us some experts from different regions. We have Miguel de Porras, which is the director of the Research Institute of Organic Agriculture, George Beers, which is who is an horticulture engineer working for the Wageningen University and Research. Sorry for the pronunciation. If I'm mistaking your names, please accept my apologies. I'm a little bit stressed. This is not a good excuse, but anyway. And also Mladen Petrish from the Autonomous Province of Vojvodina, who is an assistant provincial secretary of agriculture, water management, and forestry. They will share with us their experiences, their best practices in order to to help us to better understand the challenges posed by the agri-food sector. So without any other words, please allow me to give the floor to our first expert, which is Miguel de Porras.
Hello.
Miguel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Cornelia. I will try to share my presentation. Wait a second. Yeah. I hope you see my presentation now. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Sorry, it should come later. Okay, I will. Thank you very much for bringing me the opportunity to participate in the meeting today. I think it's especially important the role of the regions will have in the development of the agri-food value chain, and that's why thank you again. And just to mention that I would like to discuss today the specificity of the organic agriculture sector. What I would like to present in my presentation is how these digital technologies and new technologies are impacting the development of the organic agriculture sector. But first, I will quickly present FIBEL. I'm the director of FIBEL Europe, which is the office of the 6 FIBEL centers based in Brussels. FIBEL is a research institute in organic agriculture, and we are present all over the world with almost 300 researchers. We are covering every kind of discipline related to organic agriculture, but also beyond. So just a quick introduction of our center for those that don't know it. Now I will go to the point of the digitalization of agriculture. I think we are living a very exciting framework for this kind of technologies, because the proposal of the Common Agricultural Policy done by the European Commission set this as a specific objective of the CAP. You have down the drafting of the text. And you have the technology and digitalization of agriculture is now an objective of the Common Agricultural Policy. This is posing an horizontal challenge to all the sector of agriculture, but also food consumption. So I will proceed now, but before going to the specificities of the organic sector, I would like to present briefly the discussions about what kind of skills are needed for implementing this digitalization. And for that, I will try to summarize this event that happened past year of the network EIP Agri, which is the European Innovation Partnership on Agriculture, that was organized by the Spanish Ministry and hosted experts from all over Europe and the world to discuss this topic of the skills, new skills for digital farming. So that's why I consider that it would be very interesting to present here today. I will try to go quickly because I have limited time and it's an exciting topic. So I will try to give the most information as possible. In this webinar, in this seminar, we have presented this report of the OECD about the skills for digital farming, where they assess that agriculture is one of the non-routine work with less intensity in ICT. In new digital technologies. So that's why they focus as the need of the developing this ICT intensity is clearly identified by many countries all over the world. This report identify different opportunities for farmers, which you can see there, from more accessing to the information through mobile device to integrated digital farm sensors, farm machinery, and to access to knowledge. And also not only for the farmers, but for other stages, from the interaction with the governments for digital services, digitalization of bureaucracy and the process, and also access to information about prices and standards. I think these opportunities were clearly defined in the report of the OECD. But then this workshop identified that the digital skills needed for farmers are not quite complex, are more entry-level skills like cognitive analytical skills, basic ACT, awareness and trust. So we need to increase the capacities of farmers to be able to access to the information that you can find about digitalization through the internet. So it's the gap where the seminar identified the gaps is in one step before than the specific digital skills itself, but rather in the access to them, the access to the information. For that, the current TVET systems have several challenges, like how to integrate the soft skills at the same time that the technical skills in farming, how to provide opportunities to lifelong learning, address the barriers for the participation. These specific problems will have to be challenged in the future development of the sector. Integrate digital tools in the education of agriculture. These were identified as the key challenge to the vocational systems. Now I will go why I decided to focus in the organic agricultural sector, because we have this farm to fork strategy presented by the Commission past year with this ambitious objective to achieve the 25% organic farmland by 2030. This objective is extremely ambitious, as you can see in the graph. We will need to increase the rate of organic agriculture conversion massively to achieve this objective. So that's why there will be a lot of need of skills and development. And we believe that digitalization can provide a lot of opportunities to support this process. Also, yesterday itself, the Organic Action Plan was presented with the Commission committing to the 30% of funding for research in organic topics, which I think is a good track to try to arrive there. But we will have a lot of needs of new skills, new companies, new providers operating in this framework. Now I will show some examples that constitute the, let's say, ecosystem of the digitalization in agriculture in Europe, so you can get an idea, and then I will go to specific tools. Now, for example, I have to mention, I'm sure that the next speaker, George, will speak about these projects in depth, because Wageningen is leading these projects. But they are, I think, the biggest initiatives in Europe about the implementation of digital technologies in farming, smart agri-food and Internet of Farming. These two projects are the biggest one and are leading the transition in European farming to digital technologies. But I wanted to mention others because the digitalization of agriculture is not only technology-driven, but they are also farmer-driven innovations. Like, for example, this project PLAYED is digital technologies facilitate the change from peer-to-peer, from farmer to farmer, the change of experience and capacities, techniques, which this knowledge sharing couldn't happen before. So this is one of the opportunities that the digital technologies are providing. Also, this project FairShare, which is digital tool for farm advisor, is providing the tools for a farm advisor to access the information and use the digital technologies to share information and to have the capacities to provide additional resources to the farmers. I will go quickly. My presentation have the links to the projects. I encourage to the interested people to check the projects itself, because I have little time and I just wanted to mention some. So Nefertiti is a farm demo, is how digital technologies can provide opportunities to demonstration farms. This is extremely interesting because farmers are very empirical. They need to see something, and the digital technologies provide opportunities for that. But I wanted to stop in this project in the DESIRA, which is assessing the economic and social impacts in rural areas of digitalization. This project takes a more critical stance on digital technologies, using the approach of living labs, which is combining researchers and farmers and other actors to put in together to develop innovation and to deploy innovation in the field. You can see the whole set of 20 living labs developing in this project, which are producing a lot of information, but they assess, I think it's too little, but you can see the whole set of variables and factors that are influencing the impact of these technologies, from social, environmental, economic, and governance elements. This is showing the complexity of this, because the deployment of digital technologies needs to follow the needs of farmers, and to have a farming-driven innovation process is key for the success and in the future of the digitalization of the organic farming value chain. And I put this complexity, I mentioned this complexity in this project because we have this This map, you can see that one size fits all is not an option in Europe. This is this map is showing the organic share in all the EU countries, and you can see the huge differences. So then you will never find solutions that fits all the countries at the same, but you need to develop according to the specific context where you are working. So with this in mind, I will go to show some of the examples we are currently working in FIBL. I will try to go quickly, so sorry if I speak too quickly, but with 10 minutes it's difficult to address this complexity. But I will show just some examples. This Soil Doc is an app developed by FIBL, which is just the Spate Test. It's a traditional test that it can be done by own farmers in their farm to assess the soil quality. But with this app, they can compare and share the information about the Spate Test, having increased the capacity to interpret the results of the test and to have information about their soils. This is a very interesting app because there was a need of increasing the knowledge about the soil by farmers. And with this app, it's very user-friendly. Just you can collect the information different points of your farm, so you have a whole assessment of the kind of soils you have in your farm. This is another example. It's in the Swiss Alps, how robots and these drones are used to spray some treatments in vineyards because in place where the slope make it quite difficult to use another kind of machinery. So here, these kind of technologies are also supporting the farmers because they normally don't have the possibility to spray in an efficient manner. Also, another example is Farm Droid. This is a small droid thing for sugar beet production, which is very where the weed control is quite complicated. For that, and the weed control in the sugar beet production needs a lot of work. For that, these kind of robots also make sense to save working time in the without using herbicides. In organic farming, you cannot use herbicides. So then this kind of robots has a strong importance in some key crops as the sugar beet. Then you can see here some Pig Watch is combining new technologies with the farmer knowledge to assess animal behavior in pig production. And this is, for example, one colleague using a hemoglobin camera just to identify if there are any wrong behavior in the pigs before the problems become too serious. In organic farming, you have limitations about the use of antibiotics. So you need to prevent in advance. And for that, the use of these cameras is quite relevant. Also, I just wanted to share this example. It's about database, how you can integrate information to provide to farmers. And this is the European input list, where the FIBL experts assess inputs for organic agriculture to assess that the whole formula complies with the organic principles. And this is a service. We are already listed around 8,000 products that are available for farmers, which apply all the legal requirements. So it's kind of using the database to share information with farmers. But also in the line of database, we have organic farm knowledge, where you have a lot of resources of training for organic farmers produced all over Europe from different institutions and shared there, from videos to fact sheets. And I think it's very important, these kind of tools, and for the possibilities that digitalization provides on this knowledge sharing. Then in the same line, the FIBL YouTube channel, we have a massive number of videos. We have 12,000, almost 13,000 followers. And the capacity of sharing information in video format is also something that a few years ago was not possible. Now we are completely used to YouTube and to have videos at any moment. But the capacity to access is something that we don't have to forget, provides really a lot of opportunities for knowledge exchange. And then I just wanted to mention the last example I wanted to mention is the Startup Bio. Is the project we developed basic training for new entrants to organic agriculture, and we provide this training in Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Greece, in the Mediterranean countries. But the possibility to having materials developed for such an amount and translate all the materials for the number of farmers shared by digital means is also another example that I wanted to share, that of the possibilities that this new revolution have for the organic agriculture. And I think with this, I will stop here. So please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miguel, for this very interesting example. I forgot to tell you at the beginning that at the end of the presentation, you can put questions to the speakers and they will answer them, because we'll have an open floor for each participant. So thank you once again for sharing with us this very interesting example. Please allow me to invite George to share with us his experience as a horticulture engineering at the Wageningen University. George, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Cornelia. Thanks for inviting me to have this presentation of two European projects already introduced by Miguel. One is a large-scale pilot, and the other one is using the experiences from the large-scale pilots to disseminate the results to the regions. So that's basically, in a nutshell, my presentation. I will skip the promotion of my organization for time's sake. IOF 2020, the core of the project is, the objective of the project is to demonstrate the value of IoT for agri-food. It's demonstrate the benefits and deliver the proof of that. And it's about using, let's say, existing prototypes and integrate different flows of information, and also integrate the solutions into existing farm system. That's basically the challenge that we are facing in the 33 use cases we have. We have use cases split over in different sectors, as you can see, and they're also distributed all over Europe. A typical use case is has a budget of about €500,000 on subsidy. So these are pretty big projects in itself, usually with 5 to 10 partners. So that's it's just a small dot on the map, but there's a lot behind it. I'll give you two examples just to give you an idea what it is. They have a solution that is described, but very important is that for all the use cases, it's not only about the technology, but we also want to know why this is a relevant solution. So each of the use cases has defined their KPIs, as we call them, and they can be on the reduction of pesticides, on improvement of productivity, on saving labor time. They can all of the use cases have defined their KPIs. So for every use case we have, let's say, presentations like this, and we also have presentations like this, more in an infographic. Here you see the physical system, the IoT component in blue, the solution, so the data flows that are involved. So data flows involved, and the value for the customer, so the added value for the customer, not only for the farmer but also for all let's say stakeholders around the farms. So for every use case we have a presentation like this. As I mentioned, it's a pretty large project. It has over 120 partners and a lot of other companies involved that are not partners, but they just want to join the project. It started 4 years ago. We are in the final weeks of the project, so at the moment we are analyzing all the use cases to see what kind of technology they are using, the business development, and how the ecosystem is appreciated. During the project, we also included an additional activity on digital ethics. As I mentioned, the use cases are, let's say, in the high TRLs, the high technology readiness levels, and I'm pretty proud to say that we have 15 of those use cases. So about half of them are actually selling new business on the market, new products on the market. So that's quite an achievement for projects like this. We have collected all the information of the use cases. They are available on our website. We have videos, we have stories of the farmers involved, we have posters, infographics, etc. Another important, let's say, legacy is that we have the Iot Catalog, which contains all the reusable components. And as a third category of products, we have the results of the monitoring support program. During the 4 years, we have monitored all the use cases to see how they are progressing on the KPIs, and we support them with all kinds of issues in technology, business development, and demonstration activities. So in this supporting program, we developed a lot of tools that help that help the use cases, that are supporting the use cases. So these tools are also formalized in guidelines, tools, electronic tools, etc. So that's IOF in brief. It's a European project. And now, while we were working on that, we also thought about, well, how, if we have the results of this IOF project, how are we going to reach out to farmers all over Europe, to the region? And that's where the second project I want to present, Smart Agri Hubs, comes in. So we have a lot of expertise on built in the IOF on technology, how to integrate the system, how to use standards, etc. We have a lot of experience built on how to make prototypes and develop them into real business that is on the market. And we are very much aware that if you have a solution that works in Portugal, you have to adjust it to make it work in other regions in Europe. So that's something that we also acknowledged in the Smart Agri Hub project. Basically, it's about bringing digital, all the competences that we have available in Europe, and bring it to the regions, in Europe. The instrument we are using for that is the Digital Innovation Hub. And the Digital Innovation Hub is a center that is embedded at local level. So it's local level, and it has farmers around the hubs. They are acting as a one-stop shop for farmers. They can go there if they want to do something with digital technology, and ask for advice and support and help. It's important to say that these digital innovation hubs are connected to the European network. So we organized a European network where we make all the knowledge, expertise, good practices, and technology available for the digital innovation hubs. I will come later on how we do that. It's a very important function of the digital innovation hubs, at least that's what we found out working on this issue, is to make connection with investors and with funding agencies that can help farmers to digitize. Because it's not only about helping farmers, it's also about promoting good practices that are available and that can be used to improve the farmers at local level. The Digital Innovation Hub is not a new type of organization. It's embedded. It's a function. It's a role that is embedded in existing organizations. And we are experimenting with it. Sometimes it's embedded in the Chamber of Commerce, it's in co-ops, it's in extension services, sometimes regional PPPs. So there are a lot of varieties, and we are eagerly looking what works best, and probably it's very situational determined what works. So a digital innovation hub is an ecosystem. So the hub has to organize all kinds of stakeholders around it at local level. And the connection to Europe is to be connected with other digital innovation hubs. But also we are developing a network of competence centers. So we know there are organizations that are involved in digital innovation and have competences to help farmers in that. We also have a collection of innovation experiments. These are cases like we developed in IOF, but we also have innovation experiments embedded in the Smart Agri Hubs, where we have 28 of these quite similar cases. So all in all, we have at the moment this over 60 innovation experiments available to inspire farmers to use the technology, to use the digital technology. It's a pretty large project, Smart Agri Hubs. It's especially in terms of the number of partners. Good to mention that the digital innovation hubs that we are developing, we started with 140. As we speak, we have about 240 digital innovation hubs in our community, and we're targeting to go to 400. It's for us, the number is not that important, but in every region where agriculture is an important activity, we feel that it is important to have digital innovation hubs over there. To activate the system, we are using open calls where digital innovation hubs can apply for budget for their activities and to develop their services. It's a pan-European project, so one of the challenges we had is working as a European project. How do you reach out to the region? So we developed a network of, we call it regional clusters. So partners that are operating in one of the 9 regions that we formed. They have, because you also have to deal with issues like language, in which these regional clusters are very important. The paradigm that we are working on in Smart Agri Hubs is connecting the dots, so ensure that people in the region can work according to state of the art. So they are connected via the innovation portal. The innovation portal is the core instrument in the Smart Agri Hubs, where we are collecting all the information about the digital innovation hubs. We are and what kind of services they provide. They can be business, they can be strong in business support or strong in technical support. We also have the collection of competence centers in the innovation portal. So if a digital innovation hub wants to do something with robotics, we can point them to the best competence centers on that specific field. We have the innovation experiments, like a collection not only from IOF and Smart Agri Hubs, but also from other projects like the Nefertiti, the Demeter, Atlas, and all the other projects that are going on in Europe. We are really connecting the dots. So we are also involving the other projects. Miguel already mentioned a couple of them, but we have links, personal links to those projects, also to bring in the experience of those projects into the Smart Agri Hubs community. We are very busy with bringing the IOF legacy to the innovation portal. So all digital innovation hubs can use all the experiences that we built in the IOF. And it's all made available for digital innovation hubs, so they can bring services to the farmers in their region, their local setting, their region. And by that, they can use the state of the art as it is available in Europe and contribute to the scaling up of digital transformation in agriculture. And I hope I stayed within the 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George. It's really interesting to see that there are a lot of possibilities like these smart hubs and other smart tools that can help the farmers in their services, in their daily working activities. Thank you so much. At the end of the other presentation, you will have the possibility to answer to some of the questions from our participants. Please let me invite Mladen to share his experience with practices, regional practices from Vojvodina. Mladen, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for introduction. May I start sharing screen? Okay. Can you see my screen? Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Well, my name is Mladen Petreš, and I'm Assistant Provincial Secretary from Autonomous Province of Vojvodina, Provincial Secretariat of Agriculture, Water Management and Forestry. And I'll present you regional practices from Vojvodina. Okay, so first introduction, short introduction. So Republic of Serbia, our country is a candidate country for membership in European Union, and we are located in Southeastern Europe, and you can hear it, see it here. Okay. Autonomous Province of Vojvodina is a northern province, northern part of Serbia, and it consists of 3 regions, Bačka, Banat, and Sirmia, and there is 6 official languages, 27 nations and culture, and circa 2 million of inhabitants, with a total area of province. So total area of province is around 2 million hectares, but arable land is around 1.6 million hectares. And the origin of name is means duchy or voivodeship. Administrative center of autonomous province of Vojvodina is city of Novi Sad, with around almost 400,000 inhabitants with surrounding area. It's located on the banks of Danube River, found in 1694, and it's a center agriculture. It's a center of Vojvodina, and its industry is agriculture oriented, but also rising metal and IT sector. You can see on the left photo Novi Sad Fortress Petrovaradin, and on the right photo you can see the seat of provincial government. Also, we are proud of our university, University of Novi Sad, with 14 faculties, more than 4,000 students, and almost 4,000 staff. Faculty of Agriculture is the oldest faculty within the university, and it's engine of agriculture in Vojvodina. Now I will present you measures from Provincial Secretariat for Agriculture, measures for improvement and development of agriculture in Vojvodina. So I divided actually these measures in 3 parts: direct measures for farmers, capital projects, and financing and co-financing activities of institutes and services. So direct measures for farmers actually are subsidizing of purchase of equipment and machinery for farms, and it's circa 9.5 million euros per year, or 9.5 to 10 million euros per year, and it's divided in 23 calls for subsidies, and it includes calls for equipment for livestock farms, irrigation equipment and systems in crop and vegetable production, fruit growing and production greenhouses, purchase of anti-hail net system, greenhouse construction also and equipment, subsidizing organic agricultural producers, subsidizes in equipment and certification, helping small-scale breweries and wineries, and also processing of fruits and vegetables, and also milk industry. And one of the calls for subsidies we are actually proud is a startup program for young farmers. Capital projects. So the biggest capital project in this moment is automatic remote rocket anti-hail system. with 3 regional centers, and its value, the value of this investigation is around 17 million euros. These regional centers are located in three regions of Vojvodina I previously mentioned, so in Bačka, in Serbia, and in Banat. And this project, these centers will actually help the protection against hail in the area of Vojvodina, but also in the adjacent regions of neighboring countries. And you can see on the photos how it looks like now after the regional center in Syria is finished. Another big capital project is actually multi-sectoral approach to disasters in Osijek-Baranja County in Croatia and autonomous province of Vojvodina in Serbia with 1.8 million euros, and 85% of the cost is actually co-financed by EU through the project IPA2 We Stand Together. The aim of this project is to create a monitoring and early warning system that will shorten the response time for disaster, in this case major floods and disaster involving dangerous chemicals and gases, and consequently ensure a safer environment. The partners are from Croatia and Serbia. As I said, so Unicom from Osijek-Baranja County, and the Association for Creative Development SLAB from Croatia, and from Serbia it's a Regional Development Agency of Bačka. From Novi Sad, a Provincial Secretary for Agriculture, Water Management and Forestry. Co-financing and financing activities of institutes and services. So first thing I want to emphasize is the Bioscience Institute from University of Novi Sad. It's based in Novi Sad, and we are very proud of this institute. And their primarily a field of work is digital technology in agriculture, and they are really pretty good. You probably heard about them. So the project we are financing as provincial secretary is a project monitoring using remote detection in agriculture, water management and forestry, and it's financed by the secretariat with around 85,000 euros per year. The result of the project is a digital platform called AgroSense, which offers following services to farmers. So it's a satellite monitoring of crop conditions, local meteorological data, digitized data on chemical and mechanical composition of soil, evidence of activities, catalog of seeds and used pesticides, etc. And also this platform helps us, so the secretariat, to processing of applications for subsidies through the digitalized applications. And at the end, but not last but not the least, is a forecasting and reporting service for plant protection in Vojvodina. It's a service completely financed by Secretariat with around 730,000 euros per year. And what are they doing? It's they are making disease and pest prediction models based on the science and the knowledge, and using sensors, mostly automatic meteorological stations. And this service, I need to say, it's totally free for farmers, and it generates a recommendation on crop protection. And they are giving these recommendations through SMS messages, through their website, and also from the regional provincial TV station, RTV. And that's it. Thank you for your attention, and I open for the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mladen. It's really interesting what you are doing at the level of your province for helping and supporting the agricultural sector. Thank you all of you for this very interesting and useful presentation. I think now it's time to give the floor to the participants to ask some question. And first of all, please allow me to invite Abdullah Al-Araf, which is a Skillman representative from Bangladesh, to share with us his experience in the agricultural sector. Abdullah, you have the floor, please.
Hello, good morning, everyone. This is Abdullah Al-Araf from Bangladesh. And thank you, Skillman, for this fantastic session it was. And in Bangladesh, we are today attend here to actually gathering some knowledge from European organization who are already take lots of initiative about in agriculture technology. And one thing I say, in Bangladesh, our farmers are, most of them are not so much educated. So I today got some information from Miguel's presentation, how we can give our farmers more information and training for their developing their agricultural skills. And other things in Bangladesh, we are trying to make some solutions, because our most of the farmers are live in rural area. For that reason, they have the communication gap with the agriculture ministry or agriculture experts. So we are trying to developing some mobile applications or device which will be the more user friendly to communicate with the farmers and the agriculture officers also. And also in other things, in Tibet students, they know here they are the main resource for this sector, because they have the technical knowledge and skills. They can do lots of work in this sector. So we should give them a proper training. And I got some information of the speaker's presentation, how our Tibet students can enroll these types of learnings. In Bangladesh, our students are develop lots of robotics and also mobile applications, and trying to solve in agricultural problems. So I hope we can collaboratively work with each other, Skillmen, for sharing the knowledge and experience, and in future. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk something in this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abdullah, for sharing with us your experience. Now it is time to give the floor to the participant to ask their question. They can do that by raising their hands with the button there. If not, I have myself, I have some question for the participants. And then I can read some of the questions that are in the question and answer box. But first of all, please let me ask all our panelists what they consider to be the main challenges and opportunities in their fields of experience and of working in this very interesting sector. Who wants to start first?
Well, I can. What we noticed, there are different challenges, and one of the things that is coming out of especially about the IOF project, is that we have a lot of opportunities to use digital technology for environmental issues, to improve the environmental performance of the farms, not only on pesticides, but also and other chemicals, but also on the use of water and the soil quality. The issue, the challenge that we are facing is that farmers need to invest for getting this technology, but they are not compensated for that, at least not at the moment. And that's one of the things that we, of course, you can imagine that we are also providing a lot of policy recommendations, but to make maximum benefits for society of the digital technology, we feel that it is important that farmers can compensate one way or another on their environmental performance and their environmental improvement, because otherwise, yeah, they have to spend a lot of money for investing in sensors and applications, and they are not compensated for that. But that's if I can mention one. The other one is that that's related to the skills. It's not only the skills of the users of the digital technology, but we also found a lot of, let's say, problems with the people that are installing the equipment in the fields. So the sensors, not only installing, but also doing the maintenance. And we found out that the people in the work people in the field also need some basic education on how to install a sensor in a good way, that birds are not shitting on it, and that there are no leaves growing over the solar panels, etc. So these kind of things, we saw a lot of practical issues on that. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Yes.
If I may also to answer, I kind of agree with George on these barriers, because, for example, if you think in the access to finance, not only that is difficult for farmers, but if you think at the European scales, if you compare the access to finance or the interest rate that you can get in the Netherlands or in Greece, you will see strong differences. So this is also another component of the complexity that when we are talking about the deployment of digital technologies in farming in Europe. But I wanted to mention that for me, because that's why I push this focus on the organic sector, we have the Farm to Fork with a commitment of the European Union to achieve 25% of organic farmers. And for that, I think the main gap is capacity building and skills in farming, in organic farming in specific, because they have big, there are a strong demand. There are a lot of newcomers and new people who need to exchange their information. And I believe that this is the main challenge. And I believe there is where the digitalization can play a higher, can have a higher impact, because with low access costs, farmers can access to many kind of information. And in Europe, we have a huge diversity of crops where we can exchange a lot of experience, a lot of institutions and universities developing excellent research in their specific fields. So as much as we invest in knowledge sharing and provide farmers access to the knowledge, I think is the most interesting possibility that digitalization has for farming. It's my personal view. There are also many other applications that are very relevant. But I think this capacity of sharing knowledge immediately, I think we often get used, but we are sharing now. We are in the pandemic time. We don't have to travel, and we can manage to have these workshops. These opportunities are really excellent to support this process. So that's why I wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. Mladen, if you have something to share with us on this question.
Yeah, actually, as I said, we are not a part of the European Union yet, so we have problems in the agricultural sector, and I think there's the biggest problem is our agriculture producers have old machinery and old equipment, and that's the main problem, and we are finding all funds to help them to co-finance purchasing and the new equipment and new machinery. Also, I think it's the big problem is lack of finding a good market for the agricultural products. So I think we are doing a lot of effort to how to say to explain producer why it's important to have a joint market presence in order to achieve a better price of the products also. And about digitalization, it's we have as I said, we are very proud of Institute Biosense, and they are actually doing a very good job. And I think producers started to believe in digitalization in agriculture, and I think we have a good future. But there is a lot of work, and we need to make a great effort to help our producers.
Thank you, Mladen. Since we are live on YouTube, there is a question from a participant. How might digital technologies change the roles of government? Who would like to answer? Perhaps all of you, or?
If I may.
Yes, Miguel.
Or George.
No, go
Please,
ahead.
both of you. Okay.
Okay, just quickly, I believe where the strongest potential is really something is a demand of European farmers 6 years is on the simplification of administrative procedures. I think this, of course, the member state has to and the regions and all the competent authorities has to invest, and also from the side of farmers to educate farmers. But simplification of administrative procedures, digital technologies like centralizing registers and these kind of things can be key. And there are no cost of entrance. It's a question of education, and this is a strong demand of European farmers. And also improving the control system. I think there the digitalization, exchange of data, sharing between registries is key. It's something that can simplify the work for farmers, and I hope it comes in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
I'm sorry, I want to add, so as I said, Biosense Institute made a AgroSense platform that help us processing the applications for subsidies through the digitalized applications. So we don't need any more from this year to receive a bunch of paper documents in paper. So it helps. As I said, so it's a pretty quick processing, and also it's eco-friendly, right? So that's pretty important.
Maybe I can give another signal.
Yes, please.
Because what we are facing in IOF in particular, but also in the cases in the experiments in Smart Agri Hubs, is the problem of data sharing. Farmers are very reluctant to make their data available to others, and that's also because if they do, they get punished but not rewarded, and that's one of the I call it the hot potato in digitization. There are a lot of opportunities to make procedures, control mechanisms, certification to make it more efficient. There are a lot of opportunities for that. But for those, we need to convince farmers to make their data available, and not only farmers, also let's say the stakeholders around the farm. So that's a very critical issue, and we should not be naive in this. And let's be fair: farmers are protected by GDPR and all kinds of legal systems that they are not mandatory to. They are not obliged to give the data to others, and you cannot just pick data from a farm. You have to have the permission of the farmer, and that's a dilemma. I know that there are different experiments or initiatives going on. Very nice example, Just Connect in Belgium, where they are experimenting with, let's say, a more open culture on data sharing. But to be clear on this, they are very cautious on not breaking any rule of the game. Thank you.
Thank you, George, very much for your thoughts and ideas. Unfortunately, we still have time for just one question. The time seems to be our enemy today. So we have a very interesting example from India today, and they have a question that seems to be similar in many parts of Europe. I think even in Romania, from what I know, it seems that it's really hard to convince farmers to adapt the digitalization due to lack of interest, literacy, and political issues, even if they still want to follow traditional farming. Do you have such experience in European region, and how did you tackle this or any other issues similar to these questions?
Well, I think Miguel also gave the answer to that. The key is having demonstration, showing in the region the good examples, and it's only farmers can convince other farmers to adopt the technology. And another issue I think is also important. It's also maybe for some applications we have to rely on the next generation. Young farmers are much more familiar with the digital technology, and they will adopt it more easy than the traditional, than his or her father.
I'm totally agree with you. And since Miguel already answered this question in writing, let's see what Mladen thinks for Vojvodina. Sorry.
Well, yes. Also, I didn't say, but in Vojvodina, as I said, there is more than 1.6 million hectares of arable land, but only around 10,000 hectares of organic agriculture. So we have a problem. I wanted to ask Miguel how to convince a producer to start to do organic production in Serbia. So I think that's the problem. So yes, we have a problem to explain agriculture producers how to change, why the change is good. Also, the same thing is with the digitalization, and I agree with George about digitalization. It's so young people are much more familiar to digitalization. So probably we will have to wait until more young people start to do agriculture production.
Thank you, Mladen. Organic agriculture, it seems to be also a challenge for Romanian regions. Perhaps one day we'll have more time to exchange on this, to have debates and share a good practice is something that a lot of regions in Europe should be interested in this. Thank you very much to all of you, to the participants. It was a really interesting exchange of experience, of practices. I personally found a lot of interesting information today. Thank you, Valentina, for helping me us today. Thank you to my colleagues from Strasbourg and Brussels. And I hope you enjoy these fruitful discussions.
If I can add one last thing, Cornelia, thank you very much for holding the stage on this webinar. I would just like to remind all of you that our next event, our next Skillman webinar will be on supporting schools for learning in the digital age on the 7th of April in the afternoon, this time from 2:30 Central European Time. With that, yes, I would like to wish everybody a great day. Thank you very much for participating. We will follow up very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend and the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.